What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of StoneBlock. Oh yeah, guys. So I was just looking at our storage disks here, and I noticed that we are getting quite full on them. I was about to start making a whole bunch more of these 64K disks, and I was like, you know what, let's just add another drive on there and start putting stuff, more storage space. But then I got to thinking, what is taking up all the space on our disks? So I've logged into the game a few times on various occasions, and for whatever reason, like our mass storage, our storage drawers do not show up here. And I was like, that's kind of weird. But if our storage drawers don't show up, that means like when we're getting these emeralds and stuff, they don't have anywhere to go but onto our regular storage. So I was thinking, okay, maybe these things have filled up full of like our chicken stuff, right? So I got out the disk manipulator and I cycled all the disks through, which is very, very slow if you haven't done this in refined storage. And it's still full. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that we're getting that's just going directly on the disks. I don't know if there's a good way to do that other than like pulling this particular disk and putting it into another refined storage network and just looking at the contents. Yeah, I honestly don't know how to do that. Or I guess we could just isolate the disk, take all the things out. Maybe we could do that. What is going on here? Well, I guess we wouldn't be able to see because of the refined storage thing or the storage bus. We do this to like insert only. Maybe it won't show up here. So what are we getting? I see a bunch of mob drops from our mob farm, but okay, so bronze ingots, apparently, tin ingots, lead ingots, silver. So it looks like a lot of the resources that should be going down here. What do we have here? Man, do we have all of those things? I'm sure there's somewhere, I don't know where they all are. So here's silver, for instance. So why are the silver going into our regular storage, not going here? Do I have a priority set on this thing? This is priority 0, right? And this one down here is priority 10. In fact, I thought I just bumped this up to 100. I guess I did not click set. So that should be the #1 spot that all these items go. So why are they going on to our disk here? I don't know. That's really, really weird. I would not have expected it to act this way. Yeah, I don't know. So let me know if you guys know what I'm doing wrong here. It looks like we are in fact getting items from our chickens onto our regular storage instead of them going onto the storage drawers down here like I would have expected. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, a thing that we can do instead of adding a bunch more drives, or I guess the disk drive plus the storage disks, a thing we could do besides that is in this mod pack there is Storage Reborn, which we saw before, our crafting a Mac thing up here, which is on page 9 for some reason. This thing up here is where we've been storing all of our patterns, and this is what's doing our auto crafting stuff. This mod has these big storage disks, so I think it might be time to take a look at these. So the biggest one that we can do is a 16384, and that requires us to have that particular part, which comes from 34096, which comes from 310,024, 3256, and then of course the 64K ones. Well, we do have 64K. If we look at storage, I think we have some extra disks in here. We have the 16K. Yeah, here's some 64K ones. Yeah, so it says that these have EMC. I think since this has 0 stuff stored, shift right click. Yeah, and then that takes apart the 64K storage component, and we can grab something. Oh, you know what? I did not have this thing show again. Let's click this button a couple times. There we go, and put the block back. We can grab some of our emerald blocks here and start duplicating these parts. Probably not going to need as many emerald blocks as what I brought, but let's do half a stack. Okay, so that gives us like 54 of those. I'm actually not sure how many of these we need. Let's just do a full stack, and we can always reconvert this back into emerald blocks later when we get to that point. So yeah, we have a stack plus 44. That's not bad. Storage housing, I think we need a different type of storage housing, don't we? No, well, yeah, I guess we kind of do. It only shows us being able to make these disks this way. It doesn't show us being able to use the storage part with a disk itself. So I guess there is no, you can't separate these once you make them. into like the advanced housing or whatever. Okay, so that's a thing that we need to take into consideration. But anyway, I guess what we should have done is just only made like 3 64Ks, because the next tier up, this has EMC as well, right? So that comes from the 64. To make this one is like that, right? So we can take the 64Ks that we just made, put that there, throw those in there. Now we got a bunch of these 256 storage components, which I guess don't stack. So that might be a reason to keep the base, the other ones, the 64K ones, or the emerald blocks. Okay, so we need 3 of these things, and then we can upgrade that to the next tier. So let's go ahead and make that upgrade. So that would be the 1024. Okay, and then it's just a back and forth process. In fact, well, I was going to break this thing, but then I think all these will spill out, so let's not do that. So we can place that there. Let's grab a bunch of these and throw that in there. We need 3 of these parts in total. There we go. Can I... Let's do this. Let's convert these all back into emeralds. Grab all these components, do this, and then we'll break it. I think that's going to make the most sense for us right now, so we don't have to worry about running back and forth all the time. All right, I'll place this guy here. So now we have the 1024s. I think I want to keep one of each of these. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't need to. But anyway, we have the 1024, so we should be able to place that here and then make a 4096. Uh-oh, we're running out of these advanced processors. Let's fix that real quick. We put that there. We put in like some of that. Now we got a bunch of those. Cool. All right, we'll put these guys away. And do we need quartz enriched? Not sure. Anyway, the 4096 one. That means we need to do the 16, so it goes up to this. All right, we need to duplicate this guy a few times. Perfect. So now we can keep one of those, and then we can put this into the recipe. There's a 16384. That's what we're looking for. That is the big boy. Okay, so now that we have that, we're definitely going to want to copy that a few times so we don't have to worry about it. So let's grab some emerald blocks. We'll place this guy right here and throw these in there. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 8 of these in total. Well, there's 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, cool. So now we have everything, and then we can convert the rest of the EMC in here back into emerald blocks. Right, so now we have all of these components. In fact, we should probably do one more so we have an extra one in case we want to make more discs later. Yeah, maybe? I'm not sure how much to throw in here. There we go. Okay, so there's an extra one. Cool, so we'll keep that one for later. So now we should be able to say, hey, make this disc, and we can make a bunch of them. We only want to make 8 of these things. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we could have just made 1 and then EMC'd it. 7, 8. We don't want to make that last one. Okay, so now that we have all of this stuff, it's going to be a matter of taking the disk manipulator. Whoops, caps lock, disk manipulator. And we need the speed upgrades, 3 of these, and then we need the stack, 1 of those. Okay. So now we do the disk manipulator here. We place, well, I guess we need to get rid of like this and place this in here. Is that the one that's going to start getting stuff on there? It doesn't look like it is. Anyway, you can see just by placing that in there, we go from like all the way full almost to like barely anything in there, right? So that's a huge upgrade for us. All right, so we need to grab out these guys here. This should start getting stuff on there. We can toss that one in there. This 64K is empty. We don't need that anymore. And we can also throw these upgrades in here as well to speed up this process. But as you can see, it is not going super fast. I don't know how to make this go any faster. I think that is just the speed. I've tried using the acceleration wand on the disk manipulator, on the controller, on the disk drive, but I think this is all internal. I don't think it's based on random ticks, so I don't think you can make this thing go any faster than when it's going. So anyway, it's going to take a bit of time for us to finish this process here. So let me go ahead and transfer everything onto that one disk, and we'll be right back, guys. So I've been doing a little bit more investigating, trying to figure out what it is that the problem we're having is. I decided to swap out how we're collecting the drops from the chickens with a ender chest. I think this is probably just going to be better overall. So instead of going through the refined storage system and then the refined storage system puts the items into the controller, I think we'll just go from the ender chest directly using translocators into the controller. So here's what I ended up seeing. We have bronze ingots and we have silver ingots that are remaining. We had a bunch more. We had lead, we had copper, we had steel. Yeah, the problem is, I guess, through the updates or from going from chickens from the way that we were getting these resources previously, you can see here that there is a difference. That does not match these type of blocks, right? It was the same thing with the tin. In fact, I did not lock this drawer. The steel was the same, the copper, the lead. Yeah, all of these things were slightly different. Like, I believe the steel, if we go and look for steel, was showing that we had, oh boy, it was the mechanism steel blocks is what we were trying to get, but we are getting thermal expansion steel blocks, or I guess steel ingots, and that wasn't going into the drawer. These drawers don't automatically ore convert anymore unless you have the ore conversion upgrade. Yeah. Anyway, so the solution to the problem is we break the drawer, get all the stuff out of there, place down the drawer again, and grab, I guess we're getting thermal expansion stuff, so we'll just do that. You can see that icon is now different, and then we can place our upgrades back in here. Okay, and then pick this thing up and place it right there. And now we should start collecting all the silver that was in that ender chest. You can see the numbers are going up. Yeah, I think that is the solution to our problem. So we were in fact collecting pretty much a good portion of all the resources directly on our drives, and we should not have been doing that. And that's because the storage drawers aren't ore converting, and I didn't realize there was a problem here. So bronze ingot is the other one that we need to look at. And I know we got bronze in here somewhere, and if we don't, that's a problem. Yeah, right here. So you can see these different types of bronze. So this one is a bronze from mechanism, and this one's a bronze from industrial craft, and this one is a bronze from thermal foundation. Yeah, we got a little bit of an issue, right? So again, just break the drawer, replace it, or I guess place it back down. I don't know what kind of bronze we're getting. Let's go take a look. Let's grab one of these ingots. Thermal foundation. All right, we'll grab that. We'll place that in here. Now everything should be thermal foundation. Can't place these other bronze in there, though. That does not work. So we'll place the upgrades. These guys. And then we'll move this back into position. And all the bronze should now just flow into there freely. Aha. Okay, so now that we got that solved, the other issue is all the stuff that was on these discs. Yeah, we had a lot of those ores that wouldn't go in there that we had in the system. Those all need to go back through. So we need to run this guy back through and make sure we get all of that stuff onto the correct disc here. Yeah, we want to filter out all that garbage. I'm going to move that one over here. That'll be our new #1 slot. Not that it really matters, but might as well have it fill this one up first since that's the first slot. All right, so I'm going to go and run that through again. I'm going to clean up this mess. I might have to add in 2 translocators, maybe put this thing diagonal, so one side's going into here, one side's going over into here, because it doesn't really look like we're keeping up that well with all the stuff. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make some more tweaks, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, so back behind our chicken wall, we previously had a bunch of the interfaces back here, right? Yeah, I think we had 10 of them. I can't remember exactly how many, but I was starting to replace each one of those with an ender chest so we could continue the same process that we had before. But then I started realizing, you know, the only reason why we had that many interfaces was because the first one couldn't keep up, so it was overflowing. And it wasn't accepting all the items, so we need another one to catch all that overflow, and then we need another one to catch all of that one's overflow, etc., 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 because we couldn't extract out of them fast enough. Well, now we're down to 1 ender chest, and you can see all the items that are going in there, and we are extracting them out lightning fast. It is super fast. I like this. You can see I made like a bunch of ender chests because I had them all stacked up, and I was like, you know what? That doesn't make sense. There's no reason to have all these. It's never going to overflow, and if it does overflow, it's going to overflow into the same inventory. So again, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, all we need is just the 1 ender chest. We don't need this cable here anymore, so we can go ahead and clean that up. Yeah, we could put another chicken thing right here if we wanted to do that, so we don't have that weird little hole there. But yeah, we can get rid of this cabling. Very good. So now all of the chicken stuff is going through the ender chests. And as we saw over here, we had the one ender chest going directly in there, but I have changed this up now. So we have 3 ender chests. 2 of them we are pulling out of 2 different sides into the controller. And then same thing on this one. So yeah, and then we have 3 of them all importing to this middle one here. And that one seems to be the one that's getting most of the items. But anyway, with all of those things together, you can definitely see we are more than keeping up. Yeah, that's really good. I was also watching our storage discs over here. It was chewing through the big boy, the 16384K one. It was chewing through that. It was only sitting at about 4,000 stored on the first one, and it probably went through 100,000 stored information or whatever, just dumping that all back into these drawers down here. So now we got all of the stacks of stuff that we've been missing, which I didn't realize we were missing. But yeah, now that we have all of that stuff in here, we have a lot more free space. So probably not really necessary for us to go up to these big boy discs. We're never going to fill this up, but I didn't realize that was a problem at the start. Now I know we probably could have stuck with the 64K discs. It's not a problem though. We can just go ahead and keep it the way everything is, and we won't have to worry about drive space ever again. So I'm pretty happy with that. I need those stone bricks back so I can fix our floor though. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this stuff all cleaned up, and then we'll move on to something else, guys. Alright guys, so one of the next things that we wanted to do to make progress in this mod pack, we wanted to continue on Project D and start looking at the transmutation table. So in order to make this guy here, let's take a look, transmutation. In order to make that guy here, we needed these Neutronium Nuggets, which we are getting quite quickly now. I've added some watches of flowing time to our mining dimension. We can take a look here and see how fast we're getting those tiny piles. Yeah, that's not going to be an issue. Actually, let's take a look at neutrons. So we're up to 2,600 ingots, almost 2,700. So we're getting it decently fast, and we can speed it up even more or add more of the neutron collectors. But anyway, getting back to this transmutation table. So HDPE, this is one of the things that we cannot just make. We have to set up the entire network to do this stuff. It does not have EMC, so we are going to have to make every single one of them, which is not going to be a big issue, but there is a little bit of setup involved. So in order to make the HDPE pellet, we need substrate, we need oxygen, we need liquid ethylene. I think we're going to start down this path here. So liquid ethylene is made from, I guess this is gaseous ethylene. So the gaseous ethylene comes from a pressure reaction chamber using hydrogen and water and a little bit of biofuel. So how do we get hydrogen? We need to get ourselves an electrolytic separator. So this is the very first machine that we need. We need a way to get infinite water, because water is used in, I think, 3 different of the processes here. And we need to get ourselves the biofuel. So those are the things that we're going to have to start working on. Anyway, electrolytic separator, let's start there. So the electrolytic separator does require us to have electrolytic core, which requires enriched alloys, and the only way we can get that is metallurgic infuser. I don't believe we've worked on any mechanism machines so far. We have some thermal expansion machines over here, and that is about it. So yeah, we're gonna have to start all the way at the beginning of mechanism to get to where we need to be. So let's take a look at getting ourselves, what was that machine called? A metallurgic infuser. In fact, we're probably gonna want 4 of them. Or actually, did those have EMC? They don't. Yeah, none of these things seem to have EMC. So we're gonna have to set up like the entire mechanism setup. So yeah, we're gonna want like 4 of the metallurgic infusers, which is not a big deal. They're not like super expensive, but it's just gonna take a little bit of space and a little bit of setup and preparation here to get this done. So there is 3 of them. Do we not have enough osmium? We have osmium blocks. Now I'm curious. Do we have osmium chickens? And if we do, we should make osmium chickens. There are osmium chickens. So that comes from nether quartz and iron. Okay, well, that's probably one of the first things that I want to get done here. So again, I already forgot because that thing just distracted me. Nether quartz and iron. That seems pretty simple. So the nether quartz chicken, which one? I think this one's the iron. Nether quartz is this one? Yeah, okay. So there's our 2 chickens. So I'll place those guys right here. And in almost no time, we get ourselves the osmium chickens. Okay, stop. Gosh. So osmium chickens, we'll put those guys here. And that's going to go, it's going decently fast, but we can speed it up again with the wand of acceleration on there. First things first, though, I want to put our starting chickens back. I definitely don't want to lose these things. Although, I guess remaking them anymore isn't a big deal since we have all the speedy up things. Anyway, we'll just go ahead. Oh, you know what? This one isn't on, is it? Turn that on, and then we'll do this. There we go. Okay, so that's going quite quickly. So we got a couple of better chickens here. We will place these guys over like so. And do this process. So let me go ahead and 10 these, and we'll be right back, guys. And just like that, we're getting all sorts of osmium quite quickly now. Yeah, 10-10ing chickens is just a matter of seconds as opposed to like minutes, tens of minutes like it was before. I think it was taking anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes like when we first started. And now we can do it in about a minute. That's really, really simple and fast. So anyway, we're getting osmium really, really quickly. So we should be able to continue on here. So we can get rid of our search thing for that and make ourselves our other metallurgic infuser like so. Now, I do believe we could upgrade these directly to factories at this point. Let's take a look at the uses on this. Yeah, so we can upgrade that to a factory. I guess we can't do it right away because it does require us to have the basic control circuit, which does require the metallurgic infusers to do stuff. It looks like we can use IC2 circuits if we wanted to. Not sure if I want to do that. And then advanced circuits can also use IC2 circuits. And then if we want to go further, we still have to do mechanism stuff. So let's not bother with that. So for now, we'll go ahead and throw the mechanism machines over here. We'll open up 4 spots. We'll need spots back there for the cabling. Let's grab my wireless thing. And, oh, no wireless thing. I need to extend out our wireless boosters, put more of the wireless access points around so we can use our thing when we need to. Anyway, we need to get ourselves conduit, I think. There's actually, no, probably not conduit. We should get ourselves, what's the thermal expansion stuff? The cryo stabilize these, because these send infinite power, right? I think that's going to be our power sources. Is that where I want it? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think the mechanism ones, I'm sorry, the Ender IO ones are going to be better because I think we need to send power and items through the same space just because of the way these things are set up. So no, let's go back to the conduit. Yep, not in range. So energy conduit. Yeah, we'll just do it this way and send power to all these guys from the back. Something like that. We'll have to open this up so I can get to these machines and configure things properly. Sometimes we need to insert from the bottom. Yeah, so we need to insert the special item from one specific side. We need to insert the item that we're infusing from another side. And we have to extract from yet a third side. So we need 3 different sides available. So usually I do bottom for the special input. I do top for the item, and then I extract out of the back, I think is how I do that. So yeah, the conduits are definitely the way that we need to go for this particular project. Okay, so we have all of that. So we are going to need interfaces, which we have extras because of all the stuff we did earlier. So let's do some of that. So those will all contain the patterns to create the items. We are going to want item conduits. Let's get back over here. Item conduit. So these are going to insert items that hopefully these interfaces can provide. We have interface import, interface export. Yeah, I think the export, you can set a thing here, say you want ender pearls, and those show up here, but we have to connect this up to the refined storage system. How do you unset that? Oh, I guess left click. Okay. Anyway, so these need to be set to insert, and then we need to extract out of the back. Like so, and then I'm gonna want these separated because I don't want them I don't want the items that are going into this one going over into this one. So I need to use our Yeta wrench, which I think we have one. We don't have a Yeta wrench, or is it in my pouch? Oh, I guess we never made a Yeta wrench, so let's do that. Yeta wrench is made with some electrical steel and one of these stone gears. Pretty simple. All right, so we can just disconnect like that. We want the items all being separated so they're not talking to each other. Okay, I think that's all we want. And then we'll place the rest of these cables here and we'll have to do the same thing. But you can see the process is pretty straightforward. Just get this all done real quick. Click, click. Whoop. Oh yeah, that's the right one. Click, click, and those. Okay, so they're all now talking to the right one. So these guys are set to export on here. So we need to do a shift left click insert on all of these things because those are going to be inserting from the bottom side. Okay, insert and insert. Okay, so those are all inserting items that we're going to be extracting out of here. We might want to put the extract on this thing to be a different different color. The special item slot is colored like purple, so we can do purple or magenta, whatever. Is there a purple one? There should be purple. Yeah, we can just do that purple, and then we'll insert on purple. Let me make that change real quick, and we'll be back, guys. So those of you who are writing a comment already saying, Hypno, you're not supposed to use interfaces in refined storage. You're supposed to use crafters. Fixed it. Fixed it. We have crafters now, not interfaces. I did move the interfaces back here, though, because we still need these to provide the items that are going to go into the special slots. But yes, we have crafters up here which accept the recipes that will be pushed into these machines. So the machines themselves, we did have to configure where these different items are going. So you can do that by the side config button. On top, we are inserting. On the back, we are outputting. And on the bottom, we are inserting as well. So you can see the purple is going into the bottom of the machines. On the back, we have the green. This is set to extract. And it is set to always active, and that is going right back into this interface, which will get imported back into the system when the recipe is completed. Yep, and then on these, we also have the purple extract. Oh, I didn't set always active. I did move these around a little bit. Been trying to figure out a good way to lay these out, and this is what I came up with for now. So yeah, those are set to always active to extract. So now what we need to do is get something like, I don't know, coal in one of these. We will eventually upgrade these from coal into compressed carbon, but for right now, we can set that right here. This should extract this out on the purple and put it into this machine here, and then I'll fill up the carbon. Now, I think it's very wasteful doing coal like this, and same thing for redstone and diamond and so on and so forth. But until we get ourselves an enrichment chamber, this is the way we have to do it. And we have all these resources coming in this quickly, so wasting a little bit of resources doesn't really matter to me too much. But yes, we will eventually make this better the way it should be. So we'll get redstone going to this one. We'll need diamond going into the next one over, like so. Oh, you know what? I only set that to 32, didn't I? Can I right-click on this and say 64? That's one of the features I absolutely do like. Oh, it looks like diamond doesn't go into this. Okay, so just redstone and coal until we get to that point. I guess you have to... How do we get rid of these? Shift left click? Okay, shift left click. I guess until you get to the point where you can do the enrichment chamber, you can't just throw diamonds in there. That's really surprising. I thought you could. Apparently you cannot. Okay, unless I have the settings set wrong. That's set to insert on purple. This is set to extract, always active on purple. And the bottom side is infused. Yeah, okay. Well, it looks like you can't put diamonds in there. So we have this set up the inefficient way that you have to at the very start. We have coal waiting to fill up the bar and redstone waiting to fill up this bar. Okay, so now that we have those things going, we can start making a few pieces here. So we wanted to do enriched alloy. So we can say 1 iron will equal 1 enriched alloy on the pattern. But before we do that, we need to get ourselves some iron, and we have to make the item that we're trying to make. So this is the redstone one. So we will do this. That's very noisy and quite slow. But once we get this done, we can make a pattern, queue up a whole bunch of these things, and then not worry about it. I think the very first thing we're going to do is make upgrades so we can be a little bit speedy about this. So 1 iron turns into 1 of these. That's our recipe, right? Okay, so we can grab that guy and put it back into this crafter right here, like so. So now I can say make Enriched Alloys. If I want to make 10 of those, it'll just dump the items right in there and start crafting it for us. The conduit should take the item, put it into the interface, which will go back into the system, completing the craft for us as well. Let's make sure that works. Appears like that is just fine. Okay, well, that's the very first stage of mechanism here. We're going to have to get the enrichment chamber going, which we can't do until we did a little bit of this, I do believe. Enrichment chamber. This thing. Yeah, it did require basic control circuits, so we need osmium through this thing. I think the very first thing we're going to do is work on the speed upgrades, or whatever they are called. Speed upgrades, yeah, and that does require these enriched alloys and some osmium dust and glass. Not a big deal. No EMC. We have to craft all of these through the machines. I think that's what we're going to start working on. We'll do a little bit more of the mechanism next time, guys, but for now, we're going to go and wrap up the episode. I did, by the way, add in another thing over here so we can use our crafting grid wherever we want in this area, which is awesome. The cable we have running up through the ceiling, I don't know if I showed that at all, but it's like right there. So a few blocks above me, hidden it from view. Yeah, nice and clean. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.